can start. They can write it.
Yes. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Do you have the first thought in the morning? Lead me from false to the truth. Lead me from ignorance to wisdom, and lead me from lead me, I translate that, lead me from freedom for the mind to freedom from the mind. John, you should teach this in the drug addicts class. What do you want? Freedom for the mind or freedom from the mind? Mind says, take it. Freedom for the mind. Mind says, steal it. Freedom for the mind. Mind says, cry. Freedom for the mind. What is freedom from the mind? Peace, happiness, love, truth, wisdom. Did I give you a great tip? Good. So you see that we started this Yoga Sutra. The goal is to discover the real self. What prevents me? A lot of thoughts are wandering mind, constant modifications. Welcome, Lara. So, constant, the mind is subjected to those impressions. First, at the surface level, 5 subjective states of the mind, 5 objective states of the mind. Second level, the impulsive, instinctive, and habitual nature of the mind. Third level, all the past impressions that carries forward every day. And those past impressions can only be removed by meditation. Come on, even 1 hour is the most important time. So you see that then we moved ahead. We understood that, okay, then what should we do? We should do the practice. Then what is the practice? You see, every time I summarize, so you get a feel of it. Because now this yoga is in every cell of this speaker's body. So the practice, I must understand the practice. Practice does not mean that you start walking on your head. I should be mindful. We talk about mindful in eating, mindful in talking. We don't talk about mindful in doing practice of asana. Are you mindful? How many practices are required? So practice means it has 2 elements: regularity, commitment, sincerity, longer period. You say so much so that practice becomes a daily routine in your life. Thus, if it is not practiced with the dispassion, the problem will be there. What is the result? Result are two stages of meditation. One is known as sampragyat. Sampragyat simply means, you can say, it is also known as sabij samadhi, savitark samadhi, nirvitark samadhi, savichar samadhi, nirvichar samadhi. Lot of stages. So first four stages of meditation, that is known as higher meditation. So when I say higher meditation, it is different from the meditation. Higher meditation is samadhi. What is the samadhi means? Knower, knowing, known are fused together. Means the mind is fused. So first is that in every meditation, check, is your mind totally fused? Fused means the knower, you, or the doer, you. Huh? The object of meditation, two, and the doing, three, all are fused together. So that is what is known as the higher meditation or samadhi. From there begins the four stages. And these four stages are again classified, divided into maybe 6 or 8 stages. So once you pass through it, then you enter into the highest state of samadhi that reveals the knowledge of the reality. That is explained in the Sutra 17 and 18. No, you talked a lot, but I don't get it. Why you don't get it? Because you are not a seeker. So what makes you a seeker? Do you remember? No. Yes, I will remind you. Shraddha, Viryam, Smriti, Samadhi, Prajna, Purva Kitresham. The sutra number 20. Because we are not gifted seekers. Gifted seeker Shankaracharya did everything at the age of 37, wrote 200 books, traveled throughout India, taught more than 100,000 people, left the world. Swami Vivekananda lived only for 36 years. God gifted seekers, but we are not. That's why you are listening to the crazy guy. So in order to become a seeker, Shraddha, the faith, energy, enthusiasm, right memory, and regular practice with prajna. Do you touch the higher consciousness 24/7? Touch, feel. How I live into that. My honey fought with me, but internally I am calm and peace. Higher consciousness, higher consciousness. One example. It never happens, I know. It never happens in your life, but just for example. I have to give certain examples to make the things understand. So now see that. So once you are a seeker, then in that seeker, we understand what exactly is the real self. Only the seeker can appreciate what is real self. Otherwise, you say, yes, yoga is always talking about unnecessary, unwanted things. There is no real self. Why? Because you are living in the false self. When we are living in the false self, how we can appreciate? I normally talk to do you have stress? Who doesn't have a stress? They become philosophers. Come on, I'm talking about you. From there we start the journey. Now, who doesn't have a stress in the life? Means the stress has to be there in my life. Or you can say, stress is mandatory for life. It means what? As long as the life is there, the stress will be there. So you manage your stress. You cannot transcend the stress. That is opposing the principle of yoga. You can transcend the stress. You can live into that permanent peace and happiness. So if you are not a seeker, you will not be able to digest and assimilate this principle clearly. John, I remember again, drug addicts, you told me. I'm also intoxicated in a way. So anyhow, then what happens? Then now the Patanjali is very kind. He says, you claim you are a seeker, check yourself with reference to the 9 obstacles. Do you have 9 obstacles? You are not a seeker. Come on. Sutra number perhaps 30. 31. 30 and 31. So there, 30 and 31. So you live with the 9 obstacles. Every day you wake up in the morning and the mind says, I feel heaviness in the mind and body. You are guided by the praise and insert, attachment and detachment. Nothing will happen. So the master says, get rid of these 9 obstacles and continue to do the regular practice. The regular practice is required. If you are not doing regular practice, nothing will come out. Then Patanjali says, then you say that, then we may complain to Patanjali, what the heck you are talking about 9 obstacles, they keep coming to me throughout my day and night, from waking state until sleep. So he says, can you live with the attitude? There are two. The attitude also defines negative attitude and positive attitude. So let's have an attitude of friendliness, compassion, happiness, and tell your clients or drug addicts, do you have an attitude of friendliness? Be friendly with me. Don't be friendly with drugs. So you have to convert these, you have to convert these principles to help those people. Otherwise, they will say homeostasis, you also have homeostasis. I also have. What to do with it? So, no, I'm not joking. I'm serious. What you're teaching is good. So, Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. So now we are coming to the point. So have that attitude. Why to have that attitude? Cheerfulness. When you are happy, can you take drugs? When you realize and experience the happiness is within you, will you search for anything outside? I'm making a joke. Even your honey, do you need honey? You're happy. But you need honey to express your happiness, to check whether you are living into that state or not. So I get an opportunity. Lara and Kate gave me an opportunity. So then what happens? Then the master says, even you cannot do it. So, okay, you cannot do it because there is more deeper problems in the mind. So what you do, you purify the mind for a temporary period and keep these 4 attitudes at that time after purification so that you start living into that attitude. How? By pranayama. Prachadarna vidaranabhyam va pranasya. The commentator in this sutra made a special mention that just after the pranayama, when the mind is purified, you start thinking about these 4 attitudes. So that will help you. It's a beautiful way to present it, and it's a very powerful. Then we are now. Then where we went, now we are on the sutra number 35. So now see that what he says, that is a beautiful sutra. As I covered briefly last Monday, but I want to deal in detail because you are going to teach others. Vishayavati va pravartriroopanna manasaha sthiti nibandhani. You see, you may complain. John, you talked beautiful. You talked about the drug addicts. This sutra is perfect for drug addicts. I tell you, if you open up and if you start guiding. So let us understand that. So the simple translation of this sutra is the steadiness of the mind can be attained by contemplating on the subtle objects outside or inside the body. That is a simple translation. On the subtle objects. Now understand the subtle object. Oh, you take drug, no problem. Close your eyes. Imagine the drug. And drug has a taste or smell? I don't know. Does it taste or smell? Because, okay, let us pick up it has a smell. So, okay, you visualize that you have the drug. Now bring your mind to the tip of the nose and feel the smell of the drug. Don't look at the object, that is drug. Feel the subtle object. What is the subtle object? The smell, the very quality, the very attribute of it. I don't know whether they will allow you to do this practice or not, John. But this is what this sutra is, in a simple way. I am craving for something, some object, some person outside. Let me pick up the attribute because of the craving. What is the attribute in the pasta? The taste. Taste. What is the attribute in the sight? Maybe the color, the form. Oh, what a beautiful. You look like Miss Universe. Beauty. You all, all women present. So now you focus your mind on the attribute of these five sense organs. This is what, see, don't leave. What you are doing, do it. But now change your mindset. That is the summary of this sutra. Vishayvati va pravatri रूपन्ना मनसः sthiti nibandhani. Sthiti, persistence, firmness, and utpanna. You have pravrti. Pravrti means the mind is going out because of the habit on any object. What are those objects? Objects are five. Why? Because five sense organs. Yes, John.
So how is this related to pratyahara? Concentrating on the subtle object, is that the withdrawal from the form for the sense?
There, the focus is on the mind. Results, or the habit of the mind, the traits of the mind, results from the objects of the senses. So here the focus is on the sense organ. The perception of the sense organ are divided into two parts. The first part is the object. I see the object. Look at it. I see the Michael. Oh, how good you are. You are my dear friend. John, you are my dear friend. But now there is another part in the sense organ, the attribute of the sense organ. What I saw so that I became happy. However, the pratyahara, the word is also explained as a withdrawal of the sense organs from their respective objects. So here the withdrawal is not there. Look at it. Here the withdrawal is not there. I like you. You are handsome. So that attribute is the handsome. So let me focus on handsome. Let me focus on the attribute of the five sense organs. Why? I will answer that and then we will go a little deeper into this sutra. The mind is always craving for attribute figured out, understood by the sense organ. Rose flower. What is smell? See that smell? Who takes the smell? The nose. So nose has two parts, physical organ, and the attribute of the nose is the sense of the smell. So one is withdrawal, other is turning the sense organs into an instrument for changing our mindset. So first let us start understanding this sutra, this principle, from the perspective of a thought. What is a thought? Principle, mathematical principle. A thought, algebra, is equal to object plus IM. Simple. Any thought, every thought. Object has to be there plus IM. Do you know the object clearly? No. Do I know who am I? No. Fusion is wrong. It creates problem. You understand that? Drug plus IM. I am habitual. I cannot prevent myself taking the drugs. You see, this is what I am. Drug. So I have wrong information about both two. I don't live into that, and that creates a problem. First thing. Second thing now. Patanjali, master, guides us to perceive object in a particular way. Can I develop in my students a faculty to see the object in a different way, in a particular way? Patanjali says the seeker to focus on the attribute of the sense organ by changing the locus. Changing the locus. For example, if the mind likes the fragrance of a sandalwood, we should focus on the fragrance of a sandalwood at the tip of the nose. Now the locus has changed. What is the locus? Tip of the nose. And what I have to feel here? Fragrance. Minus sandalwood. Smell of a drug minus drug. Do you see? It's a very subtle principle. I'm trying to explain you in a different way. You see, subtle. Honey has left me. It is only the attributes in the mind that is present that is constantly haunting you. So your conclusion is that the honey has left you. Objects are there outside in the world, has to leave one day. I believe you are getting it. I believe you are getting it. Experience in meditation differ from person to person. Again, pick up another. Last week, I was dreaming that I became Bill Gates, living in a palatial house in Washington, if I'm correct. He has a big house in Washington. I was enjoying all the luxuries, jet in the air and jet in the water. When the dream broke, I found myself in my home, getting ready to give lessons on Yoga Sutra. Then mind was confused. and also amazed with a question that I cannot solve. Perhaps you can solve. What is the question? We never think in this way. What is the question? Did Bill Gates also dream like me that he is giving a yoga lesson? That he became ready to give a live session? I'm not able to decide which one is the dream and which one is the reality. When I was dreaming, I became Bill Gates. Now I'm also dreaming in a waking state giving yoga lesson. Which dream is true? Tell me. What difference it makes? What I dream, I saw with eyes open or closed. When my eyes are open, I'm still dreaming. Ask a question. Does the dream has any value? I'm breaking up all the conditioning that we have created in our mind. There is not a value of the dream that we lived with eyes open. I lived for the last 61 years of my life. Do you understand? That is a dream with eyes open. I lived. So what difference it makes whether I live in dream with eyes closed or eyes open? What is most important is to know the reality behind these two dreams. Tell me, when I was dreaming that I became Bill Gates in dream, it was true. In a waking state, this is true that I'm giving a live session. But in dream, Bill Gates was true. In waking state with eyes open, this is true. Out of these two, which one is really true? Which one is really true? Find out which one is really true. Yoga, Eastern psychology, Eastern wisdom answers you. Neither of these two are true. You are true. Find who you are. Find who you are. And that finding lends you that you are the real self. And the real self is self-existent, self-evident, self-luminous. You live your life in total freedom. That is the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom. So now see, our meditation practice leads to various experiences by different seekers. They explain to me because their mind have been automatically fixed on the attribute of the sense organs without object. No, I see the spark of the light. I see the blue color. I see the red color, orange color. Attribute of the eyes. Oh, I feel a lot of smell. Good fragrances. Not only in meditation we experience good smell, not the foul smell. Because of the mind, because of the nature of the mind, because the mind has intended. You see that mind has an intent to do something good, to feel good. Nothing more than that. So we are again trapped by the mind. We have to transcend the mind. We are again trapped by the mind. We have to, but trap the mind in a right manner. This is what this principle talks about. So now see, pay attention. You may write down, or I will just put it on the object of the senses. Object of the senses, or I would rephrase it, the goal of this principle is to allow the mind to work on the sense organ, on the attribute, to find a locus plus the attribute of the sense organ. What? Tip of the nose for a special fragrance, any fragrance. At the tip of the tongue, a taste. The upper palate, color and the form. The middle of the tongue, spatial touch and sensation. The root of the tongue for the sound. Now check, what is your experience? You experience. What do you experience? I experience light and color, different forms. So your mind has found a locus that is upper palate inside the body. That is why you are experiencing these color and forms. And it is much better than having a distracted mind, than having a wandering mind. Do you see that? Try this, John. These spatial 5. First ask them, what do you like? Like means out of the 5 sense organs. See that? Pick up. Have a play and fun with those addicts or anyone. We are also addicted in some way or the other. So find out. So you see that when a seeker has the above spatial experiences, what happens? The distractions are removed. Focus is gained. The mind enters into the state of cheerfulness, and you are ready to embark on a journey for the self-discovery. Clear? When I came here, not too much of attention is paid in the studio in India, but here the different studios are there, well built. What we say, Yankee? Fragrance? Do you remember? Yankee. Good mat, good pens to meditate. But perhaps they have misunderstood the principle. The commentator of this principle clarifies that the goal is the discovery of the real self and end of suffering. The practices mentioned here are to be done only to gain focus, change the locus. Gain focus, change the locus. My mind habitually focuses on anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict, different smell, fragrances. That is why I am addicted, or I'm habitual, or I'm living a mechanical life. Find out these 5 locus. Enjoy that object, visualize that object. Now, time has gone, but just I'm dreaming I'm marrying Miss Universe. For what? Beauty. Beauty is a form. Upper palate, let me locus. Find the locus of the mind is the upper palate. Allow the tongue to touch the upper palate, stay there, and start visualizing the beauty. You will see your mind is withdrawn inside. Just I'm making it very practical. This is what the master says in the 3rd chapter. Desabandhasya chitasya dharana. You see that? Normally we translate as concentration and focus. It is not focus and concentration. What is the first step? Confining the territory of the mind. Confining the territory of the mind. So these are the 5 territories of the mind I explained you. Tip of the nose, tip of the tongue, upper palate, middle of the tongue, and the back. Look at this. That is what the 3rd chapter, John, the 3rd chapter, the 1st sutra. It is not concentration. Dharana is confining the territory of the mind to one object you are perceiving. You are married and your mind is not confined in the territory of your honey. What will happen? What will happen? Just see that. So, what happens when you confine that territory? The mind has found a locus to be cheerful, it removes the distraction, then you enter into a meditative state. Then you enter into a meditation. And what is higher meditative state? Where the knower, the known, and the knowing are fused together. The real journey starts from there. Tatra pratyekatanata dhyanam. I give you another tip that will be very helpful. A seeker may choose an object of any sense, like the smell of a rose flower, experience the fragrance by bringing a rose near the nostril, first example. Or you have a memory of the rose flower, so relive that memory. I say, rose, come just for a couple of minutes, make the body steady, and then bring the mind at the tip of the nose. Then visualize the rose flower or relive that experience of the memory that you had about the rose. And within 3 weeks, if you do it for 15 minutes every day, in the third week, you will feel the smell of a rose. It's not a big deal. It needs only 3 weeks. Then what you will say, I have gained a supernatural faculty. It will destroy you. You see? It will destroy you. That is what our master says. So then check whether the distractions are removed, not removed. Continue doing the practice. So before any meditation, do this practice for 10 to 15 minutes, and after that, do your own practice of meditation. The success will be tremendous. Knowledge should be realized through experiences. Now, why the commentator? Now, the commentator of this principles, who is also a great master, who was contemporary of this master 3,000 years ago, what he says. Because you heard a lot of principles, you heard about practices, you heard about obstacles on the path, you also understood what it means to become a seeker, but your mind is still doubtful. So the master says, let us give you a taste of some supernatural experience, so that at least you should remove the doubt, remove the distraction, remain cheerful, so that you can treat the path successfully. It has nothing. So, a lot of people say, I have a lot of supernatural powers. You will get it, but keep silent. Continue the journey. The miles to go before you sleep. There is some poem, I don't remember. That needs to be. Yes, what is that poem? Yes.
The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have miles to go and people to meet before I sleep.
Dark and deep, miles to go before I sleep, before I fall into unconsciousness, before I become habitual. That is the meaning here. I'm giving a context to the meaning. Seeker's mind is 100% available to him. And if your mind is 100% available to him, what you cannot achieve? Tell me. If we are available to the mind, means we are available to the past impressions, we are available to our habits, we are available to our agony, pain and suffering and anxiety. We are available. No, mind should be available to me. Life changes completely. You need not to dream of Bill Gates then. What is the problem outside in the material world? To become number one. And what is the goal of self-discovery? To become one. To become one rather than become number one. How long the Bill Gates was number one? Now he is number fourth. To see that, it is bound to happen. Don't start running for this. Be one, united. Live into that state where it vibrates from your body, your mind, your attitude. That is the life we should live. That's why I told you this story. Dream with eyes open, dream with eyes closed. Never do that. Oh, no, the choice is yours. Why should I say never do that? It is your choice. So this is what has been discussed, written a lot about extraordinary sense perception. You see that? ESP. You know, many of my friends say that, oh no, yoga does not explain scientifically. Come on, it explains everything. Are you ready to learn? Eastern wisdom explains every aspect clearly. Now I remember, extrasensory perception, ESP. What you're doing, do you have a rose flower in your hand? No. You close your eyes and feel that fragrance. Feel that fragrance. Tongue is touching the palate and you can see any color, visualize any beauty. It happens. It's only a 3-week practice. 15 minutes, but first 15 minutes, another 15 minutes, you're totally calm and relaxed. Then do this. You will find. Okay. Let us, now see that there are, I would say, 1,000 applications of this principle in the Eastern wisdom. So experiences of this extrasensory perception helps. Master lays down the goal to gain focus, to remove the distraction, to make the mind 100% available to me. Finish. Why? To explore the higher consciousness. To explore the higher consciousness. Even the experiences of tingling, numbness, freezing, heaviness, lightness, visions of colors and their forms, feeling of the smell, fragrances, subtle touch, spark of light, different taste can help the mind to remove distractions. Because your mind is not craving for the object outside. It has picked up the essence. It has picked up the essence. So you pick up the essence of a drug. John, again, why my mind is going to you again. So it picks up the essence. Yes, I could see Bojo. So it picks up the essence. So what will happen? The time will come, the mind is not going for an object which is known as drug. Now it is going for an essence. So you have a rehabilitation. There is another, now I will come to the beautiful traditional wisdom of is bhakti yoga. It is known as bhakti. Bhakti, normally translated as emotional discipline or the path of love, but here bhakti comes from the word bhaj. The word bhaj means separate. Object is here, essence is there. Look at it, Lara. That is how we should understand. And our friend, our common friend, perhaps your common friend, Shilver, Sharon. Do you remember Sharon? Who is a good singer? She learned Nadi Yoga from me for a couple of many years. Nadi Yoga. So that Nadi Yoga, the very sound separates the object from the sound, and the sound absorbs your mind within. You enjoy that. One aspect. In Bhakti Yoga, you have Strota, Stuti, Puja. These are the three words I'm using. They all are written in a different meters. They are verses and the couplets you start singing. They are the hymns of praise and adoration. Why? To bring your mind back, to find the locus, to remove the distraction, to remain cheerful all the time. You have a pain and you smile. Thank you. Thank you, God. Body has a pain, I don't have it. So there are hundreds of verses, thousands of verses. One of them I practiced for at least, I would say, 7 to 8 years until I met my masters. And then he said, leave this. Enough. You got it. Now see that how by thinking, which is written in the verse couplet form, help your mind to withdraw within. Even it will help you withdraw your mind within while I'm talking to you. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Vishnumayeti Shabdita Namastasyai 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 Namo Nama. Now you visualize the goddess. So goddess Durga has been an image. So what we are saying to the goddess Durga, now see that. You see the image outside, what the verse means? O goddess Durga, you are sitting deep inside my heart as a pure consciousness. That is why I salute to you, I salute to you, I salute. Every time you are bringing the mind back, you can put instead of Durga, you can put Jesus, you can put anything. You can put Adam and Eve. You can put your honey also. I'm coming closer to you. Come on. Don't talk about honey. Is your mind saying like this? Don't do that. Now see the other way. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Sanstita Namastasyai Namastasyai Namastasyai. I still remember those verses. I did it almost 40 years back. So what it means? O Goddess Durga, or any image, you are sitting in my head as a pure intellect. That is why I'm saluting you, saluting you, saluting you. You just do these verses, and within a week you will find the mind has changed its locus. So what is the tip here? Patanjali says, because you are visualizing an image, the locus of image is upper palate. Look at it. Very clear instruction is given. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Nidra Rupena Sanstita. Before you are going to sleep, oh Goddess, you are seated in my heart as asleep. That is why I salute you, I salute you, I adore you, I adore you, I love you, I love you. Do you see? Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Sanstita. When you feel weak, repeat it again and again in your mind. Visualize, yeah, oh Goddess, you are sitting in my heart and the head as a tremendous power. That is why I love you, I love you, I love you. What we say, Happy Mother's Day. If the mothers doesn't get a present, they are upset. So, so, so here the master is saying, you are seated in my heart. See the entire chains of perception, your chains of thinking, chains of perception, chains of emotion. The mind finds the locus inside, it removes the distraction. You are cheerful and happy. You are ready to succeed in the journey of life. Yes, I will write couple of verses which I have. Yes. Let me write it. It is almost used to take about 15-20 minutes of how many? Maybe 60 lines, but instead of 60 lines, let me put some of them. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu. You have a loss of memory, you don't remember anything. Just sit for 5 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, eyes closed, palate. Oh Goddess Durga, you are seated in my head as a memory. That is why I love you, love you, love you. Wait, memory will be recollected. But don't say that, don't do that. Oh, no, I did it today. It will not happen. I told you first 3 weeks. You have to do the practice. And after that, you will see, you will start seeing the vision, instant thrilling experience in the body. The mind comes down and the mind lays into that state of calmness. I can go on this sutra, but that is enough. Ya Devi Sar. Oh, your mind is has a lot of thoughts. It's causing lot of trouble. Kristina, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Rakti Rupena Sanstita. O Goddess Durga, you are seated in my head as many thoughts and distraction. That is why I love you, love you, love you. Your mind will separate all the thoughts from you. You will be calm. It's a very deeper practice. I'm just trying to give you a feel of it. Yeah, Devi. So this is what it is. Now let us come to the sutra number 36, the principle number 36 by the Patanjali in the first chapter. What he says, you can achieve the same result. What is the result we want? No distraction, focus, cheerfulness. Why? So I can treat the path of self-discovery. So what it says, Vishoka Vya Jyotishmati. Simple translation. By focusing on the inner light without suffering, Vishoka. Vishoka means cheerful. Jyotishmati means shining, contemplation on the light, inner glow or inner light. When the mind perceives higher and subtle perception and activity during the practice, makes the mind steady and it removes the distractions. Now see, these couple of these sutras lays emphasis on that you invoke some powers of the mind. Some powers of the mind. We had a healthy discussion. I had a healthy discussion with Michael last week, in a couple of weeks, about these supernatural powers, supernatural faculties. Mind contains all these powers. It is known as a formative capacity of the mind. Mind has a power of focus, mind has a power of memory, and there is a formative capacity. Means form. It can form. It can create. Huh? So we have already a 5 locus in the previous sutra. But here in this sutra, commentator makes very clear that not many people follow the path after even becoming a seeker. They do not have a faith. The mind has a doubt. They want result quickly. So these sutras can help them. Why? Why? I dream of, no, that's why I explained you the story that I was dreaming that I became Bill Gates. What a grand dream. With eyes open, I'm also looking at the same dream. What is very important? You neither dream with eyes open nor dream with eyes closed. So having said that, now you enter into the sutra. The majority of the people who are not seekers continue to enjoy living in fantasy of these experiences and destroy themselves. Do you see that? Do you realize that this is what is happening in the world? Now see, the Patanjali has extracted the beauty even from these fantasies. This is the power of Eastern wisdom. No fantasy. You see the light, you see the vision, very good. Is your mind focused? Is your mind cheerful? Is your mind clear? Very good. Use those practices and the tips to make your mind 100% available to you. And those who have a doubt, those who live in doubt about these principles, Patanjali says, practice this, I will give you the power. Don't do the practice, or you can do it with a good intention to experiment, to see that it works. If you have any kid below 7 years of age, Alex has 2 kids. Take the picture. Sit in a quieter room with eyes open, focus there. Focus there. How to focus? Take the entire picture. Picture of the entire body, from the feet to the top of the head. And continue to move your mind with love, with awareness and attention on that picture, on that image, until you find you start feeling some deepening sensation inside the head. The moment you feel that, close your eyes, continue the practice. So once you feel that now, and keeping the tongue on the upper palate, locus is there, color and form. Then what you do? It is easily done. Why I say kids below 7 years of age, their mind is highly receptive. And their mind is still to be distracted. They will start still dreaming with eyes open and get frustration and failures in life. So once you reach to that state, you start feeling that a sense of that image inside your head or the heart. Give little instruction. What is that? Tomorrow you will wake up at 5 a.m., honey, and you will ask me a glass of milk. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Do it every day. Within 7 days, you will see your kid wakes up at 5 and demands a glass of milk. Simple. This is the power of yoga, Eastern wisdom. We don't understand the principle clearly, and that's why a lot of confusion. The mind can be made steady When the seeker focus or visualize the heart like a bud of lotus. Now see, now I'm giving you some understanding of kundalini. Patanjali has explained it. Patanjali has explained it. Thank you, Lara. You blessed all of us. So, you see that? Now this commentator explains that what you do, you move your mind inside the heart, visualize the shape of the heart. You see that shape of the heart? Shape of the heart? Huh? We all have the same shape. Heart is the same. Whether you're a beautiful man or woman, it is the same. So what the commentator says that you visualize the heart like a bud of lotus. Bud. Then what say? Focus on the lotus of the heart that shines like the space, that takes the shape of lights of a sun, moon, planets, precious stones. It is opening like a bud, and after it opens up, the petals are drawn outside. From that, you visualize the spark of the light. Spark of the light. Jyotishmati, Vishoka Jyotishmati. We should know that there is no limit of the intellect that can imagine and visualize this. Why there is no imagination? You can visualize the lights of a sun, moon, planets, and precious stones. This is what the commentators suggest. From there, the idea of a chakra with these flowers came in the Kundalini meditation. Now, what is the goal of visualizing this? We misguide people. No, you will be totally absorbed in meditation. You see the red color, it means in the Muladhara, in the base chakra, then you have a problem. You see the black color, forget about it. These are crazy stuff. They are wrong. It has nothing to do with it. Let me tell you openly, frankly. It is not the goal. What is the goal? Goal of doing these practices is, again, remember, focus, cheerfulness, remove the distractions. So the mind is clear, and that mind can withdraw inside into the journey of the self-discovery. I have read a lot of literature on these chakras and flowers. If you have red color on this chakra, green color on this chakra, violet color on this chakra, then you are crazy. You have a lot of negativity. I will release your negative. First, release your negativity. Then you can release others. If you are so important, you can release the negativity of everyone. We will make you Bill Gates. You take care of the 7 billion people. Don't get carried away by these wrong perceptions. It has nothing to do with the Eastern wisdom. Be very clear. Now see that in that respect, one Vishwamitra was a great master. When he lived only 5,000 years ago. He created the mantra based on this principle, which is known as, Kate will know, it is known as Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra. John explained the details of the Gayatri Mantra to your clients or drug addicts, and then you start asking them to chant the mantra. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swah Tat Savitur Vareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yonaha Prachodayat. We meditate on the splendor of venerable divine. This is one explanation. We meditate on the glory of that being who has produced this universe. Glory of that being. What is that being? Supreme consciousness. What is that supreme consciousness? Real self. What is that real self? Consciousness that transcends the body and the mind. Now, understand little deeply. Light of the consciousness is always there for us. Did you understand what I said? Light of the consciousness, light of the consciousness is always there for you, for us, for me. When we close our eyes, no matter how dark it is outside, there is a light of consciousness inside. Did you understand? You close your eyes, you live in a dark room, still you are aware. That very awareness, that very consciousness is what is known as the light. We are not talking of sunlight. We're not talking of light coming from electricity. So people misunderstand, oh, there is a light. So as long as there is a light that you see, that you experience, so mind and the sense organs are engaged, you have not transcended the mind, you are not into the state of meditation. Finished. Did you understand? Not a big deal to understand. Now, when I close my eyes, I see the darkness. This is the projection by the mind. How come? Mind says, you see, you have been listening to me. How come? Mind says to you that you have been listening to me because you have been observing, feeling, enjoying the objects of these five sense organs. Now, why you have closed your eyes? Because you have closed all the five sense organs. Hence, there is nothing. That nothingness is the projected darkness of the mind. The light of consciousness is present behind the mind if disturbed or calm. That light transcends sorrow and suffering. It is beyond suffering and always there. We always have a choice to focus on this light. The exact meaning is this light of the consciousness. Are you getting it? Light, when we say light, light of consciousness. That light, when we do not study Eastern wisdom, we create misconception that there is a light inside, like a light of electricity or a sun inside. I told you, that's why I started with the Bill Gates. I was dreaming of Bill Gates. So you can dream of the beautiful light. It is still a creation of the mind. But the light of the consciousness cannot be the creation of the mind. If you are there, you gain focus, cheerfulness of the mind, and that makes your mind highly creative. Clear? Let us move to another method. Patanjali, so kind. He says, you don't get it? Okay, I have another practice for you. He continues. But there is a limit. So limit is coming now. So now the another sutra, the sutra number 37, Vitarag Vishayam Va Chettam Vitarag. Do you see, do you feel, do you understand anyone who is Vitarag? Vitarag means who has transcended all the attachment and detachment, who is living in peace and happiness. Normally we say who is enlightened. Maybe a Jesus, maybe a Muhammad, maybe a Krishna. Pick up any image. Vitarag Vishayam Va Chittam. You can achieve the same focus, distraction of the mind, and fearfulness of the mind by this practice. This is what the master is saying. So I was doing a lot of meditation on Goddess Durga. I gave you those verses. And long back in 91, perhaps, I went to my master. He was saying that, this guy is crazy. He's crazy after this goddess. So one day he said, come on, come in front of me. Now meditate on me. And Goddess Durga was gone. Why he did it? The mind should not be conditioned in any way. It has a greater stumbling block to reach to the highest consciousness. First few days, I was terribly disturbed because now there is no Goddess Durga for me. Do you see that conditioning, habitual? Don't just see that. I'm so grateful to this master who accepted me. But I also accepted him because I took the chance to break my old conditioning, which helped me in the beginning, but due to the conditioning, it was creating a barrier. And after a few years, he said, stop meditating on me. Are you crazy? Go inside. Keep your mind inside. You get those masters, if you are fortunate and lucky, who shows you the way that your real self, your consciousness is independent of everything outside. Vitarag Vishayam Vachittam. So Va means also. If you cannot succeed in that, you can make up your master, make up your guru or Jesus or any image. No, I don't like, I'm a Western guy. I don't believe in God. I'm a spiritual guy. I'm not a religious. Do you know what do you mean by spiritual? Just naming and giving a statement that I'm a spiritual guy. It doesn't work. Understand the meaning. The word vitrag means a person who has transcended the attachment, confusion, and conflicts from his life. You can pick up the image. So you pick up the image to support in the beginning, and then the mind moves inside, perceives the light. That will help you. Again, my mind is going to John. What to, we are Western people. Why should I, I don't believe, I'm a very rational guy. That is why you are suffering from stress. That is why you see that after 27 years, you are awakened to the rationality after 27 years, even though you are a rational guy. No, I'm not criticizing. They are more intelligent than me. They have more money than me. I'm talking of Bill and Melinda. Eastern wisdom gives you a wisdom, a right intellect to work on your life and to express the same work outside so that the people around you will change. Means in the family they change. Then nearby relatives, they understand how you are made up of, how you are responding in different situations. Look at it. The entire life becomes a celebration. You don't celebrate an event. You celebrate an event, Mother's Day. Mother's Day, today is Mother's Day. That's why I love you and I'm giving you a present. Otherwise, I hate you. I know, I have attended many celebrations. We should also celebrate Honey Day. When then there will be a problem who doesn't have a honey. No, but now we say honey to everyone, even to our dog, to cat. So honey is always present in our life. Now understand the basic principle. Forget about God, image of the God and Guru, because you are rational. No doubt you are disturbed and rational also. So Tantra Yoga gives you an understanding of yantra. What is yantra? Yantra are geometrical designs, geometrical figures. They represent different states of the consciousness. So I can awaken in my mind, the higher states of the mind, the higher consciousness, by meditating on these yantras. Now I studied geometry. I have seen triangle, equilateral triangle. You give a wisdom to it. Equilateral triangle like this, pointing upward. Do you understand? Pointing upward, equilateral triangle. It represents Shiva. Inverse that, it represents Shakti, goddess. Pointing upward, pointing downward. Do nothing, my friend. I have tried on kids, on adults, and it works. Based on the principle. So you should have a particular mantra. You should have a particular color that you draw. Maybe a big equilateral triangle. Keep it in your room. Sit at least 6 feet distance from the triangle, pointing upward. Red in color in the beginning. The outermost equilateral triangle is red. Second layer of the triangle is green. Third level of the triangle is blue. First step. Your 6 feet distance, it should be around, on a big piece of paper, maybe it should be 2 feet, minimum 2 feet. And do nothing, simply first step, sit comfortably, make the body steady, eyes are normal, and then start moving the mind clockwise on the outermost triangle slowly. Maybe 15 times in anti-clockwise. Then go to the second inner middle triangle, then go to the third. You will experience as if you are not sitting in the room. Means what? The mind has withdrawn inside. With eyes open, you will find it. Second step, then close your eyes and repeat the same with eyes closed. So after a week, you will start visualizing these triangles even with eyes closed. Then continue moving clockwise and anti-clockwise using a particular mantra. That we will talk later. There are mantras. There are many mantras. Or maybe a simple mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. Or maybe Sarvesham Swastir Bhavati. Maybe Asatoma Satgamaya. It will work. So Asatoma Satgamaya with the meaning that I'm moving from the false to the truth and moving the mind. I can bet you that you will have never experienced that state of the calmness, and that state of the calmness and the peace will continue for about a week. I use this here in New Jersey also, with about 13 incarcerated prisoners in New Jersey. They gave me a contract for. Did I talk to you, Brandy? Yeah, I talked to you. So I use those. So this is what gives you a sense of understanding of these sutras. The Eastern wisdom says listening to the teacher is the first important step in the journey to self-discovery. When a seeker pays attention by offering himself wholly to the teacher, offering his mind, don't misunderstand. There's a lot of problem in US. Only US has a lot of misunderstanding. We always want to be clear for everything. Brandy, the next session. No. I mean, I'm joking. You see that? So, offering himself wholly to the teacher means the teacher takes over the mind that makes you crazy. The seeker allows the teacher to enter him so that the knowledge can enter easily into the heart. That begins removing the distractions. It is faith, commitment, sincerity, and intense aspiration that brings the success. So I've already given that idea. Now, what a beautiful next sutra. What is your goal? First ask yourself, what is your goal? And let me remind you. The moment you start the Eastern wisdom, it says, what is the subject matter? I want to have lot of powers in my hand. Look at the fate of Bill Gates. I have a good example now. Yes. Kate.
So I'm just noticing this is 1.39. Did we skip 1.38 for a reason?
I think this is 1.38.
Oh, it just says 1.39. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Corrected. It is 1.38. No, I'm intelligent. When I don't understand a particular sutra, I will skip it. But you caught me good. So it is 38. So before going that, first understand what Eastern wisdom is. Let me remind you. What is the subject matter? Subject matter is who am I? What is existence? What is this world? So I know them clearly. I have 100% clarity. Second, four connection. It is known as four connections. First connection is the subject matter. Second is the goal. What is the twofold goal? End of suffering, completely ending the suffering from the life. Completely. For that, I need not to become Bill Gates. I love him. I want to talk to him. See that what happens. So, second is permanent peace and happiness in my life. So, the goal is fixed. Subject matter is fixed. Third, ask yourself, are you a qualified seeker to pursue that goal? Why you are not a qualified seeker? So the master answers, the impurities in the mind. What are those impurities? Oh, with the small things, I start crying. With the small details, I lost the money, what should I do? I lost the job. We raise small questions. The impurities of the mind is about the desire, delusion, anger, hesitation, and add all the mental challenges. Second is the distraction of the mind. That is the problem. As long as I have impurities in the mind and distractions in the mind, I cannot pursue the path. Master says clearly in the outset, in the very beginning. And third is the ignorance part, that I do not know who am I. Clear? 3 points are clear. 4 connections: subject matter, goal, and I as a seeker. I have to get rid of the impurities of the mind, get rid of the distractions. That's what we are discussing. And after that, we have to remove the ignorance. Now question comes, what is when we say 4 connections, how to connect? So a person treating the path connects to the wisdom, the knowledge, and the teacher. That is the connection. That is the connection. So that the teacher reminds you, don't go for this, go for this. Why? You are going for this because of impurities in the mind. Because the mind is distracted. That's why you are looking something other than you. Book cannot remind you. You read the books and throw the books. I have read it. What I have read it? Don't ask me. I'm angry over you. You already have an impurity in the mind. Do you see how the Eastern wisdom is very clear and focused about self-discovery? Subject matter is clear, goal is clear, and then it challenges you. Do you have impurities in the mind? Yes, I have. So we will remove it. Okay, I have the distraction. We will remove it. I'm committed to remove it. Then I will go for removing the ignorance. How? So we have sadhan chatustaya. You have Ashtanga yoga. When you are a beginner on the path, you have 8 limbed. Yama, niyama. But common principle is what is known as 4-fold practices that we covered in Tattva Bodha. Do you remember? Viveka, discernment, dispassion, 6 treasures, and then your mind is, can I use the word fired about, no, I have to find this self at any cost. You are committed, you are sincere. It makes you a seeker. And that seeker always succeeds on the path. So we are covering what we are covering. We are covering how to remove these distractions, keep the mind cheerful so that I can treat the path successfully. Now, what a principle. Master says, use your sleep in the dream. Swapna nidra, jnana alambanam va. You have given me lot of practices. Which one I should do? This is one complaint. Other complaint when the teacher says, do this practice regularly, I cannot do it. Another complaint. What the teacher should say to you. Okay. This is what Patanjali is saying to all of us. And that is why he is explaining which practice fits you. That needs to be understood with the teacher together. That is the way the Eastern wisdom works. So, swapna nidra jnana alambanam va. What? The sound sleep state is absence of thoughts and distractions, isn't it? Now see, connect it, connect the dots. Why we cannot progress? Impurities in the mind, distraction is there, I am not cheerful. That is the problem, right? Now connect it. Sound sleep state is absence of thoughts and distraction. And dream are of many types. It may be good dream, it may be bad dream. Right? So what the master is conveying, the master says here that the seeker focus on those dreams that are beautiful, calming, vision of masters, not negative dreams. The seeker reflects on the negative dreams, disappears completely when we wake up. What exactly the message is conveying? Take up first the deep sleep. The moment you wake up, spend 5 minutes as if you are in a deep sound sleep. No thoughts. What will happen if a thought comes? Your intellect says no thought, because in sleep I did not recognize any thought. That thought will go away. Again, after a couple of hours later in the waking state, for 5 minutes, visualize that sound sleep state. There is no thought. Yes, but I was not able to recognize the body also in deep sleep. So I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. Visualize that. After a couple of weeks, you will find the mind removes the distraction. Same way in the dream. So science wants to explore the dream. What is the meaning of the dream? We are not interested. Why we are not interested? We are only interested in the dream. So 5 minutes, let me visualize the dream. When I was here in US, I always visualized for a couple of months that I'm sitting in the monastery of my master at the height of 15,000 feet. The long banyan trees are there. My master is sitting in the cave and I'm massaging his feet. Done, finished. Don't get attached. Just done, vision. Why? Because I had a lot of challenges in the very beginning when I landed here. Nobody knew me. So why should I create those things? Every time when I was driving with eyes open, that saves your mind from a lot of worries and problems. So we are not interested to explore a non-REM sleep. Not interested. We are only interested in the dream and the sleep. We are only interested in the sleep and the dream, that these two states, and the third waking is also three mental states. And the real self is present in all the three states. We are only interested in finding the real self that transcends all the three states. So as the nature uses the sleep, we can use the sleep consciously. As the nature uses the dream, we can use the dream consciously. Look at the way the master explains. The goal is to discover the fourth state, which is present in all the three states of waking, dreaming, and sleeping. It is known as Turiya. Turiya simply means the fourth state. It is a meditative state. So by these practices on the sleep and the dream, you can directly enter into the meditative state, provided you are not attached to any dream. Who doesn't want to see that I should become a Bill Gates? There is only one Bill Gates. I don't know why my mind is going back to him. Maybe I love him. I'm not saying anything wrong to him. It is possible to sleep and dream consciously. That is another part to understand. Brandy, yes, Brandy.
A couple of months ago, I heard a talk from Krishna Das, and he was talking about when he moved to India, he would sit before his teacher and he would fall into a deep sleep while his teacher was teaching for the first couple of months of it. And he said that he felt like that he got the teaching, he doesn't remember, but he got the teaching through his sleep, and that's his teacher just let him sleep and continue to teach, and he felt like that rewired him. So can that happen too? I mean, can you be like in a sleep state and take it in that way?
Yes. With two kids in New Jersey. That's a very specialized practice with the two kids, yes. So they were deadly scared the moment they used to go to school. So all the medical investigations were done, MRI scan, etc. No problem with the brain, and they used to faint in the school. And ultimately, I came into their life. I discussed with the parents, and I said, okay, I have understood, and I have read all the report, and it will be done. So I wanted to give them a practice first to relax in a waking state. Then they should go into sleep state. I continued the instruction so that the instruction passes on that deep, and then I used to wake them up in the same practice. And I told the parents, I don't know how much time it will take. No, I cannot give you a guarantee, but I know that I can give a guarantee that I can help your kid. It took about 6 or 7 months. They got rid of completely all the anxiety and the episodes of being fainted when going to the school. So what happens that we have hundreds of practices that we can customize going into deep relaxation. Then you are sleeping as if you are sleeping, but the instruction continues. And instruction continues from the teacher, and the time comes in sleeping state, you receive the instructions. That is the most important thing. And it is possible if one is prepared for it. So parents, he was studying in 7th or 8th standard, and I used to give him twice a week practice. He used to go to their home and giving the practice, and he's fine. He's working fine. So now come to another sutra. Now 39 sutra, my friend Kate. It was 38 before. It was typo. So you see that you commit 1 million mistakes in the world, but don't commit any mistake to yourself. Your life is good. Finished. Maintain your awareness. So now the master lays his hands. He says, okay, I have taught you so many methods. Did you like anyone? I don't like anyone. Then master says, do the practice whatever you like. Do whatever you like, but do the practice. Yatha abhimat dhyanadva. We raise our intellect, move in a wrong direction. What is the wrong direction? That's why I explained you the 4 connections. Do you remember? Subject matter is 100% clear to me. Who am I? What is this word? What is the existence? I want to know it clearly, remove all kinds of delusion. No, can I do the practice and can I earn the money? No compromise here. No compromise. Goal: end of suffering, complete suffering. Eastern wisdom guarantees. And awakening to permanent peace and happiness. So if these 2 subject matter and the goal is clear, then we check ourselves. Am I ready to treat the path? So I have to remove all the impurities. What the hell? How can I pay you fees if I'm not earning? That is not the goal of the Eastern wisdom. How you should pay. Are you doing a job? Continue doing the job. Continue the practice side by side. Let the practice take over your mind. You become more creative. You'll be able to earn more. But that is a silent way. We don't talk about it. In a true tradition, we don't talk about it. But if you are creative, if you are hardworking, you will be rewarded. Where is the problem? Don't you see that? You are committed, you are sincere, you are creative, you will be rewarded. I'm a crazy guy. Sometimes I start this session. I'm becoming more intelligent now while living here. So, so my friend gave me a client in Scottsdale, and she started this session, and she forgot to pay me the money. It was $12K. And after 2 years, she read the message that she did not pay me, and she texted me after 2 years. Oh, did I owe you? I said, no, definitely you owe me this one. So, are you ready to pay? She said, yes. I said, pay me 50%. Because you remember. I forgot that. So it was a dividend for me. So you have to, now I'm a little careful. So this master says, you do any practice. So what normally people say, when I guide them, do this practice, they say, no, I like that practice. I said, okay, let me intensify the same practice you like and do this. No, there is some problem with this. For one person, I gave 52 practices, and then he said, now I don't like any practice. I cannot say that you are crazy. And then, in that state, because why? What is the reason? The reason is that mind is not impure. You did not do the preparatory steps. You are not clear about the goal. You are not clear about the purpose. And then you are going to blame the teacher. You are going to blame the practice. Now, can I say that? So I'm very careful again here. In other places, I'm very blunt and straight. I said, you are responsible. You did it. You are not doing the practice. Why the mind is blocking you to do the practice? Did you question that? Did you understand that? So normally, you see that what we do, normally, we people or masters, we observe the seeker, attitude, temperament, and give the method that can remove the distractions. That is why you see that every time I change the practice, every time. So I don't allow your mind to think that this practice doesn't work. I change something. Not for me, for you guys here. So now take one more sutras, and then we will go to the second chapter next week. Oh, I have covered the first chapter. So take one sutra. Now, our master attracts all of us. How he attracts? He said, you pick up any practice that I explained you before. What will happen? You gain a mastery from the most minute atom to the greatest infinity. The world is waiting for you to gain the mastery. Those 8 and 10, 9 practices that Patanjali explains. Patanjali is saying this. Method explained above, sutras, you can enter into, you can instantly, what it means now. Understand what it means. Then I'll have a couple of questions before we go into another good session. We are going to have a session on the intellect, how to make the intellect steady. What the master is saying. Master is saying, you are living with your honey. Honey said you something. It's a minor thing, and you get irritated. So you can get rid of that irritation instantly. Minute, small things. Small things. Small things in your life, in your relationship. You lost the money. I explained you. It was my master who helped me. I lost all the jewelries. Did I mention you? 2 bags. And I went to my master crying. He said, it will come up. It will come again. That is the way the life is. Come on. Come on. Let the guy who stole enjoy. Sometimes it did not happen to you that some of your students paid you much more than you expected? I said, yes, it happened. So why to worry if you lost something? So what do you see that? Very small issues and the problems that haunts your mind when you wake up in the morning until you retire. You live your life fully. You live your life like a king. And then you have challenges, real challenges in your life. It depends on you. You can make a smaller thing very big. It is the teacher who recognizes. It is only the teacher. Sometimes you make the smaller issue very big. Everyone reading the news, after 27 years, for me, it is a very small issue that you did not realize. You don't have a power of discernment. That is why you could not realize that you cannot live with your partner in the first year. So you continued for 27 years to realize now you cannot live. Is the problem big or small? No, I will refrain from talking about Bill Gates in the next session. It's just an example to make you see that our mind, when it is attached, makes small thing a big issue. Honey, I remember you insulted me 10 years ago. But I also appreciated you. 99% I loved you. Only one time it was just out of the blue, it came to my mouth. But that is the problem. So what the Patanjali is saying, the small issues, don't make it big. Rather, the big challenges, make it very small. When the mind is clear, you don't have distraction, you have a problem facing you, you can solve these problems easily. Pick up any of these practices, pick up all the practices, do all these practices and see what happens in your life. What he says, you gain mastery from Parmanu. We say Parmanu. Parmanu means atom. In English translation, atom. Anu. Anu is the small. Those smaller problems to the larger than life problems. You can solve those problems of your daily life, and you continue to treat the path of self-discovery for peace, prosperity, and success. Let's have questions. Because other sutras, there are 10 sutras more. They talk about different stages, subtle aspect of meditation. So once we start with the second chapter, and then we understand what exactly, then we come down to the third chapter and understand what are the higher states of meditation. So, questions? Don't avoid the small problems. Don't avoid the big problems. I heard from the Bitney, anyhow, my video is not working, so I'm done with it. Why you're done with it? Your computer should do with you. You see, it's all, Bitney, it's all a matter of how you live your life. With small challenges, with big challenges. Whatever I remember, I'm just, speaking. Don't feel American way. Don't feel offended.
No, I'm not offended. That's why I was I was just gonna say I stopped bothering with it because it's not worth worrying about.
Don't bother. Use your intellect to solve the problem. At some fair level, I'm also a computer geek. I keep my computer always clean. So ask me any question. You understand that is what even listening to these principles, you feel the life has changed. Intellectual understanding. And when you start doing the practice, what will happen? Think of your life. Think of the life. So, any question?
This
Yeah.
question, but I just wanted to tell you this. I've been going through big changes. I graduated. I'm going to be moving. I'm back in Alabama now, but I'm going to be moving back to Arizona soon. So, big changes are typically, difficult for me. But since I've started, practicing you a few weeks ago, you said, why don't you just say, mind, how dare you? And so when I wake up, instantly, like I'll think of all the things I've got to do. And I just started saying, mind, how dare you? And I just cut it off right there. And I guess it sounds kind of silly, but I like saying that. Just
Beautiful.
mind, how dare you do that? And then I kind of separate myself from it and I move on. So I like that little saying.
You pick up anything. You pick up any problem of your life. The teachers in the Eastern wisdom, my master told me I was poking his nose. I was interfering in the first 3 years of my life with him. I said, I know it. My dad was a great scholar of Sanskrit. I knew all these, I had an intellectual but dry understanding. So the master tolerated me for 3 years. And one day he called me, he patted on my shoulder. What he said, my son, I teach you what is not written in the books. It is my experience. All my expressions comes from that experience. And once you pick up those experiences, it will transform you. And that was the day I never raised any doubt. I said, why intellect? How dare you have a doubt on this principle? I have to understand it. And that is what you did. Pick up any message. Any message from the middle, from the beginning, and will take you there. That is the beauty of Eastern wisdom, Michael. That is the beauty. Beautiful. Alex, not only this, how dare you then maintain that awareness, then go into the practice, return with a deeper experience. Why? So that you remove all those impressions that haunts you. Yes. Anything? Beautiful. Make your life in such a way, interact with people in such a way that they feel at ease. Don't tell them that, no, come on, feel at ease. I will give you the secret. Don't say any secret. That's another approach of coaching and etc. that I have heard and listened. No, we are not interested. You see what we are interested? That I represent. Do I represent the Eastern wisdom? What is Eastern wisdom? It is an instrument of knowledge plus 3,000 teachers. So I'm proud to represent minus ego. So I will focus on the principle and the knowledge. I will not focus that I will deliver you from evil. I used to chant that prayer a lot. There was a time I used to go to